In our heart to heart with Jesus today, we are looking at dwelling in the presence of the Lord. Dwelling in the presence of the Lord. There are strangers in God's presence. There are visitors in God's presence. Then there are enemies in the presence of the Lord. But there are equally friends who dwell in the presence of the Lord. And in our heart to heart with Jesus today, we are looking at dwelling in the presence of the Lord. Let's open our Bibles to the book of Psalms chapter 15, from verse 1 to verse 5. Lord, who may dwell in your sanctuary? That's the question. Lord, who may dwell in your sanctuary? Not who may be a visitor to your sanctuary. Not who may be a stranger in your sanctuary. Lord, who may dwell in your sanctuary? Who may live on your holy hill? Those two critical questions. Who are those who may dwell in the sanctuary of the Lord, in the presence of the Lord? And who are those who may live in the holy hill of the Lord? Verse 2. He whose walk is blameless. A blameless walk with God permits you to dwell in the presence of the Lord. There are many people who tell you how they encountered the Lord once. They are visitors into the presence of the Lord. But there are those who have cultivated this dwelling in the sanctuary of the Lord. Those who can dwell in the holy hill of the Lord. Number one, he whose walk is blameless. Number two, he who does what is righteous. So if you are not given to doing what is righteous, it is not possible for you to dwell in the sanctuary of the Lord. You will be a visitor. Once in a while you may touch God. But to have a continuous encounter with the Lord, you need to maintain a blameless life with God. You need to know what is called a righteous life. This right standing, where you have decided that whatever stand between you and the Lord will be taken out of the way. You will never negotiate your relationship with God for anything else. He who speaks the truth from the heart. There are many people who have external truth, but if you were to look at their heart, what their mouth says and what their heart means, they are totally different. Are you false, fundamentally false? The God of truth cannot permit someone who is living in falsehood, who speaks something outwardly, meanwhile he means something in the heart. Such a person cannot dwell in the holy hill of the Lord. A blameless life, a righteous life, a life of truth. He who speaks the truth from the heart, that is not political truth. And has no slander on his tongue. He will never speak to destroy the image of anyone, because that's what slander is. A person who slanders may speak the truth, but with the intention of destroying another person's image. Are you the custodian of the image of everyone here on earth, or you destroy the image of people all over the place in order to be the only one who appears good? Then you cannot dwell in the presence of the Lord. Because if the Lord went around talking about you, all that he knows concerning your life, will your image not have been damaged a long time ago? He who has no slander on his tongue. He who does his neighbor no wrong. Your relationship with your neighbors will determine your relationship with God. Do you do your neighbors? Are your neighbors complaining because of you? Are there people crying all over the place because of you? At your place of work, are people crying because of you? Are your bosses crying because of you? Are your subordinates crying because of you? Are you the one who is causing problem all over the place? You are causing people to hit their head all over the place, and people are crying, weeping all over the place because of you. You cannot dwell in the presence of the Lord. Someone cannot be weeping and shedding tears somewhere, and you say you are spending time in the presence of God. You are in the place of prayer, while someone is crying because of you. He who casts no slur on his fellow man. You will not damage somebody's life. You will not put dirt on someone. You will not block the pathway of someone. You will not block the progress of someone. Verse 4. He who despises a vile man but honor those who fear the Lord. There are many people who honor those who are vile, those who are immoral, those who are corrupt, just because they appear rich. But when they look at someone who is walking right with God, who may look poor, they will not honor such a person. If you will be one who will dwell in the presence of the Lord, you will despise the one who is vile, whose ways are vile. You will honor those who fear God. In an increasing way, those who fear God are being insulted, and those who are wicked, immoral, murderer, destroyer of the next generation are those who are being honored just because they have in quote what they call wealth. Your true wealth is not what you have. Your true wealth is your relationship with God. Who keep his oath even when it hurts? When you make a promise, do you break your promise easily? If God broke his promises towards you, what will your life be today? If you will be one who dwell in the presence of the Lord, the Bible says you keep your oath, you keep your commitment even when it is painful. From the moment you have opened your mouth and said something, you do everything possible to keep it. That's a righteous man. That's a dweller in the presence of God. So there are characteristics of those who would develop an intimate relationship with God and who would dwell in the presence of God. Those are not strangers in God's presence. They are people of truth. They are people who value the righteous. They are people whose lives are right with God. Who are those who may dwell in the presence of the Lord? He who lends his money without usury and does not accept a bribe against the innocent. Are you the one moving all over the place? When you see the needy, you can even deceive people to take money from you because you know very soon you will seize their property. You do that to your fellow man, you have done it against the Lord. You cannot dwell in the presence of the Lord. Do you accept bribe against an innocent? You know, someone has not done anything that is wrong, but you are in the position of authority, and then they bribe you, and then you do evil towards that person. You cannot dwell in the presence of the Lord. He who does these things will never be shaken. The person who dwells in the presence of the Lord will never be shaken. And to dwell in the presence of the Lord, it is the type of life that you live. Your walk is blameless. You are righteous. You speak the truth from your heart. You slander no one. You do your neighbor no wrong. You despise a vile person and honor the righteous. You keep your commitment, your oath, even when it hurts. You are considerate. You are not just thinking about how to make profit. You are kind-hearted. People pay the price to dwell in the holy hill, to abide in the presence of the Lord. Are you one of those who know this heart-to-heart relationship with Jesus, and therefore you are abiding in the presence of the Lord? Do everything to be one of such.